one of the companies that's doing very well in the portfolio is SVT Robotics. And they've really, it seems like, looked at not just today, but years in the future with some of their analysis of the market and where they see things going. And so it seems like a lot of companies build businesses for right now and today and not necessarily thinking about the future. Right. And so I believe that while what we're going through is absolutely terrible, a lot of the shifts that are happening are kind of your traditional bell curve, where the people on like the last adopters, kind of quadrant 3 and 4, are moving and shifting and being forced into doing things that they wouldn't have done before. And so it seems like with a company like SVT Robotics, they're in prime position and ready, and we're forecasting kind of what the future is going to look like. It's going to be very heavy warehouse based without individuals necessarily doing stuff. And so how do you guys see like what's good now as something that you want to be in, but really also looking at, okay, what does 5 years look like from now, 10 years look from now? Because a company like that, I think if you look at the next 10 years, I mean, I believe that you're going to see Walmart's completely get rid of their retail situations, right? Where you're not going to have consumers go in there whatsoever, and they're going to become warehouse hubs. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the issue from the last mile stuff that everyone's have is you're just going to have drivers. You're going to have the consumer go in, pick up their stuff, which is already happening loosely, right? And you're never going to have a consumer go in to the actual Walmart again, because that's just going to be the new norm, right? And so how do you guys look at companies that are doing something that seems so out of line right now, but really is going to become the new protocol, if you will?
So I think a really good question. I think one of the things we see when you talk about the need to have, nice to have, right? The need to have is how, if you take retail, which is the consumer section that you were talking about, consumer goods, anything that can be picked up needs to be transferred to the actual user. So I would say one of the things that's interesting about SVT, which by the way, super successful, really great story. Hats off to Tim Ryan for referring them to 757 Accelerate, and also recognizing that they had a great superpower early on and had deep business acumen, really shallow startup acumen. And Tim is wise enough to know that that's what they needed. And that's what they'll say about their experience at the accelerator, was we knew what we knew about growing a business was in a traditional business where we were just really trying to squeeze profit out of an ongoing. How do you take that first lift? They also saw what they know about the logistics and transportation, which is the reason Amazon, for many reasons, was beating everybody and eating everyone's lunch, was because they have no people, right? They have robots doing all that, but they invested in all of their own robot hardware and software. There are tons of robot manufacturers out there, really big gap in the software to get the armed robots, the pick, pack, and ship thing done in an automated fashion. And they tell a great story about the 2-year on-ramp to try to actually get people to integrate those systems. That has now compressed tremendously. They're in a great position. They're going to be flooded with demand at the end of this, because now, if there is a TJ Maxx at the end of this, the reason they're going to die or maybe hold on is because they don't have any e-commerce. All that stuff, there's going to be so much pressure to do that. And also that unused capacity for robots is going to be, you want the robot to be doing as many pick, pack, and ship pulls as they can. So one company is going to own a certain amount of capacity for logistics and warehouse. So also trying to maximize that capacity so that you can do sort of like the Airbnb idea for robots and logistics and software. So I think anything there is going to be incredibly impactful. And also any of the user interfaces that makes grocery store shopping. I mean, how many people had never, ever ordered their groceries? And now they're never going back to the stores. Why wouldn't you? But
that's my point, right? Is people look at these things and say, hey, this will never happen, when it's like, actually, it has been happening. You just haven't seen it. You just
haven't done it, right?
Right.
But I think that one of the problems with that is anyone who has the plugin where that makes that a lot easier for people, any of those will be singles and doubles. They will not be, Cowboy Ventures unicorn. Those will be singles and doubles, but we need a lot of those too, right? A lot of good singles and doubles businesses.